Hi, this is Alexis Peppel with Peppel Insurance, your Medicare concierge. I want to explain a very powerful form when it comes to Medicare and some of the costs associated with it, specifically your Medicare Part B premiums. There's a form out there called the SSA 44 form, the Social Security Administration 44 form. It's also referred to as the life-changing event form. So I'm going to explain why we would want to use the form, when we want to use the form, and how we use the form. And in order to explain that form, I'm going to do a quick refresher on how Medicare Part B premiums are determined. So here's my little chart for the current year of 2025. Now remember, your Medicare Part B premiums are based off of your modified adjusted gross income from 2 years ago. So if I was going on to Medicare this year in 2025, Medicare is going to look at my modified adjusted gross income as reported in my 2023 tax returns. Now, the modified adjusted gross income, the amounts are based on how I file my tax return, whether I file individually, jointly, or I'm married filing separately. For this example, I'm going to use a joint tax return. And I'm going to assume that in 2023, I reported income of $250,000. So that puts me in this bucket. Now, what that means this year in 2025, as I'm transitioning on to Medicare, I would end up having to pay something called an IRMAA, an income-related monthly adjustment amount. Income-related monthly adjustment amount. Now, this year in 2025, the standard Part B premium for the majority of the population is $185 a month. But because I'm a higher income earner, and back in 2023, I reported income of $250,000, my standard Part B premium of $185 is going to be adjusted by that income-related monthly adjustment amount. So what that means is I would pay a total Part B premium each month of $259. Now, I've done the cheater math on there to not embarrass myself doing math on the fly, but that's the standard amount of $185 plus that adjustment of $74. That gives me that total of $259 per month for my Medicare Part B. Now, remember, I'm going to retire at the end of March of 2025. Most times with retirement, that paycheck stops. So as I'm going on to Medicare in 2025 and also having this life-changing event, it's really not fair for Medicare to go look 2 years back at my income when I was fully employed drawing that paycheck every 2 weeks in 2023. That's not my financial reality as I'm moving to Medicare in 2025. So what I can do is I can petition Medicare using a form called the SSA 44 form. And I'm going to show you what this form looks like. This form is called the life-changing event form, the SSA 44 form. This form can be found at www.ssa.gov/forms. So right on the Social Security Administration website. Of course, you can always reach out to Peppel Insurance. We're happy to provide this form for you. Now, let's just say that I'm retiring and I have a spouse and we're both going to be moving on to Medicare. Remember, we file a joint tax return. So even though it's my retirement and my income that technically is changing, because we filed jointly, this life-changing event affects both of us. They're going to base our Part B premiums off of that joint income. They don't care which spouse or partner made the income. Because we filed jointly, it applies to both of us. What I'm getting at is that you would have to file this SSA 44 form for both people to avoid that 2-year look back and that increased Part B premium. Just something to keep in mind if you have a spouse or a partner that's also going on to Medicare and will pay that higher Part B premium. So this form is super simple. You're going to fill out your name and your social security number. That's how they're going to identify you. One thing I like to call out on here, people often get a little bit tripped up. This form, it has a bit of a lag. Now, Obviously in 2025, they're going to look at that tax year, and obviously this is referencing 23 and 22. Don't get hung up. This form has always got a little bit of a lag. You can see on the top left, this is the most current form published in December of 2024 for 2025. There is not a newer version, so don't get too caught up on that verbiage in there. Now, they provide you what those adjustments will be. So again, in my example, I was using married filing jointly, and back in 23, I was going to fall in this bucket, and it indicates that I would have that adjustment, if you will, of the $74 for your Medicare Part B, and then $13 tacked on to your Medicare Part D, as in drugs. So this is what they would adjust it by if I could not tell them I was having a life-changing event. So let's get to the meat and potatoes of this form. The way to fill out this form, obviously put your name and your social up at the top, but then the way that you're going to fill out this form is you need to let Medicare or Social Security know what type of life-changing event that you've had. Now you can see there are 8 life-changing events outlined on this form. The 2 that I see used most often are work stoppage, that's going to be retirement, or work reduction. Maybe I've gone part-time, I'm not quite ready to leave the workforce altogether, but because of that work reduction, I've had a change in my income as I'm going on to Medicare. Now, the one that everybody gets really excited about is this loss of an income producing property. I want to just mention this one and how it can be used, or how really more or less it cannot be used. It's not because I sold the ski condo in Aspen and had capital gains and I just really hit the market right and just made a lot of money on that investment property. It's going to be because I have an Airbnb that provides me income, and an avalanche took it out, an act of God, and I now no longer have that income from that property. So it's not that I sold my property and had capital gains, it's that I had an income producing property that I have now lost due to an act of God, and that has changed my income. So I just want to be really clear on that one because I get quite a few questions on that. So like I mentioned, most people are going to use this form when they retire. So work stoppage or work reduction. You're going to put the date that the life-changing event happened. So for my example here, I'm retiring March 31st of 2025. And then in step 2, you're going to indicate the current tax year. Now, as I'm filming this in March of 2025, I have absolutely not filed my 2025 tax returns, but I am going to use tax year 2025, so the current tax year, and I am going to indicate, I'm going to have to sit down and do a little bit of homework of what I believe my adjusted gross income will be. Now make sure if you do have any tax exempt interest, that's line 2A on your 1040 tax form, that you do anticipate any tax exempt interest, because they are going to add those 2 numbers together to come up with your modified adjusted gross income. Now what I'm doing with this, right, is I'm going to make sure that I'm going to be in that lowest bucket. Now this year, right, it's that $212,000 if I file jointly, it's $106 if I'm filing individually, or married filing separately, again it's that $106. So as long as I'm under that number, or I fall within one of these buckets, I don't care if it's $50,000 or it's $211,000, as long as I am below that first income threshold, that's what I'm going to put here in that adjusted gross income. You'll indicate your tax filing status, and then if you anticipate your income for the next year, so 2026, you could go ahead and indicate that in here. Now, the reason this section of the form is very helpful is because in 2026, me being on Medicare, they're going to pull my 2024 tax return. I was still working in 2024. So they're going to tack on that IRMAA in 2026 based on my 2024 income. So if I indicate tax year 2026 and I put what I believe my estimated income or tax exempt interest to be, that will avoid the 2026 look back to 2024. So I don't necessarily have to file this form again. This is going to get me out of that 2-year look back, because then in 2027, they're going to look at my income in 2025, and clearly that's when I retired. My income fell in that year, so my tax return will reflect that. So really important to use both of these, step 2, step 3. as you're filling out this form, if your income will continue to be lower or even get a little bit lower as you are in retirement. Now, the final step to this form, Step 4, you do need to provide some type of documentation of this life-changing event. Now, this form is 8 pages long, so I'll let you read down there what appropriate documentation is that you can provide to Social Security. But typically what I find is if you can get some type of a letter on company letterheads that says your last day of employment or your date of separation is outlined in that letter, that's acceptable for Social Security to recognize that life-changing event. Now, you may need to file this multiple years in a row, right? So if I have some type of deferred compensation that maybe I'm getting paid out over the next 5 years, I may need to file this multiple years. Typically, as far as timing goes, you want to file this about 2 months prior to your initial enrollment into Medicare. So the first time that you're going on to Medicare, whether it's when you're turning 65 or whether it's with that retirement, probably more likely with the retirement, the life-changing event. So when you're enrolling into Medicare for the first time, you do want to file this about 2 months prior. If you need to file it in subsequent years, you're going to want to file it probably November, beginning of December, so that they have time to process that paperwork so that they can get the correct Part B premium associated with your account for the coming year. Now, once you've filled out this form, the way that you will file this form is you can go to your SSA.gov website. So the SSA.gov website, up here you can type in locations, click that little search button. It's going to take you to a link, find your local Social Security office, click on that link, and scroll down to the bottom and click this locate an office by zip code. So I'm going to click on that. You can type in your zip code, hit locate, and it's going to bring your local office. Mine just happens to be the Littleton, Colorado office, and now I have their address. Couple of options with this form. You can either fax this form into the Social Security office, or you can mail it to them at this address. My recommendation is send it certified mail so that you have confirmation that it was received. Again, with the fax, I would definitely keep that fax confirmation. Most people don't have a fax machine, so you could go to the UPS store, the FedEx store, or again, if you're working with Pepple Insurance, we're happy to fax that document in for you. So this is how to use this SSA 44 form, a very powerful form for people that have higher income, that have had a life-changing event, are enrolling into Medicare. Again, I know this is a lot of information, so hopefully this helps bring a little bit of clarity. If you're still confused or if you have questions, please reach out to Pepple Insurance. We are more than happy to help you navigate this process and make sure that we get everything checked to get those Part B premiums as low as possible for you in the coming years.